Maverick 100.9 Aggie Lands Country Alternative. It's Corliss, and her name is hard to say, but I think I've got it figured out. Cynthia Rausch is here. Did I nail it?
Yes, you did. Look at you.
All right. I'm still going to call you ranch dressing, because if you spell it, it looks like ranch, but it's not. It's Rausch. Cynthia, it is so good to finally have you here on Maverick, first off.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be on it.
I am too. And even when I met you, I had told you, like, dude, I've wanted to meet you forever. And like, there's just so many things that never fell into place.
Yeah. It just always, it was crazy.
That's always how it goes. But you have finally brought us some new music that we get to chat about. A single called What the Whiskey Gave You. Yes. Tell me a little bit about this tune.
So it's a ballad,
okay,
country, and it's a heartbreak song, but it's not in the fully traditional what we normally have right now, especially on the radio. I was an addict in my teen years to pills, and I have several family members that struggle with that as well. I decided to write a song about people affected by that. So this song is about the people that have been affected and lost someone into addiction. And it's referring to whiskey. Even though that wasn't my story, I have family that was. And so it's just, I and friends. And I mean, there's so many people that struggle with addiction, and
absolutely.
It's rising every day. And so I wanted to make sure that was something that people could, I was hoping to help both sides, maybe bring some comfort and solace to the people that are affected by those people that are dealing with that, but also maybe an awareness to the ones dealing with it, maybe bring a mindset that they maybe not be thinking about at the time, because I didn't think about what I was doing to my family. And so, that's what it's about. It's heartbreaking and it's sad, but I'm hoping it'll help someone.
Well, you are. I mean, you're talking about something that's incredibly important and does affect, almost everyone in America, whether you are the addict or you are the one with a loved one who is struggling with addiction. It is a full circle, and it does affect everyone.
Yeah. And it's a bigger thing than a lot of people. And it's been such a taboo subject for so long, too.
Yeah.
And, like, we can't talk about it. It's like these people are still out there suffering, whether it's the family member or it's the person. And I wanted to bring awareness to that and just kind of blow the lid off of it and say, you know what, this is something that's a problem, and it needs to be addressed and to talk about it. It's okay to talk about it, because I think that too many people suffer alone. And yeah.
I believe that. Well, it's funny. This is becoming a common trend in music, is sobriety. And I'm so glad for it, because it is the creative mind that often suffers. And we're very, people like me, people like you, we're very prone to addiction and addictive tendencies. And I've had this conversation with a lot of really incredible people like Adam Hood, Mike McClure. The Great Divide is finally back together because they have found their sobriety and stuff like that. But I do got to say, I don't think I've ever talked about this subject with a woman.
Yeah, it's rare, but it happens. And that's,
I think that's a whole nother side to it that people don't necessarily look at. So I'm super proud of you. My heart is just bursting right now.
Thank you. It's not an easy road, but recovery is so worth it. It's so worth it. Sorry, I'm not gonna cry.
Well, we might, because we are going to listen to the single. So I guess this is your warning.
Right.
Do they do that like they do on TikTok? Trigger warning.
Right.
But it's good. It's good for you. It's good for the soul. And we're going to be back to talk with Cynthia Rausch. But first, What the Whiskey Gave You. Due to copyright, Brian Broadcasting is not licensed to air this single for you in podcast form, but you can now find it anywhere that you stream and download music. And today's interview continues now. Maverick 100.9. You heard it here first. That was Cynthia Rausch and What the Whiskey Gave You. It's Corliss, and I am joined by Cynthia, who is a brave, deep soul, for sharing that with us. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. End of sentence.
Period. Thank you. I appreciate you guys playing the song and giving me a moment to talk about it. So it's awesome.
Well, do you find yourself going down any other avenues though, besides sharing your music with people? Is there anything else that maybe you do to help others struggling with addiction?
Well, I mean, because of the music, I've had tons of people reach out. And so whether they are in recovery, currently struggling, family members of people that have either lost a loved one, or someone that's still have a loved one that's still struggling. And I have people reach out to me for prayer, advice, just encouragement. It's been actually since this song came out, specifically the music video is out as well. And my family is acting in it. And it was an emotional thing to film. It's just been really crazy, the response to it. I knew this was a problem and I knew it was out there, but I didn't realize how many people are suffering alone. And so it was just that's one of the ways that they are reaching out. And I'm also directing them to places like there's a organization, Celebrate Recovery, and they are willing to help addicts and get them resources, and they have meetings as well and such. I am working with a friend of mine I met him through Facebook. His name is Scott Hartman, and he's a recovered addict. And now he is also working with Celebrate Recovery and one of their speakers. And he is an author. He wrote his story, and I've read it, and it's available on Amazon. From Chasing Dope to Pushing Hope, my story of recovery and redemption. And it's amazing. So kind of partnering with him a little bit to try and he's using my music and his speaking sessions and seminars and such. And I'm using his book to try and help anyone that needs it. And so it's been really cool just to all that.
It's really cool to have all those resources too, because you kind of touched on it yourself, like your family being in the music video and stuff like that. Clearly you had a great support system behind you, even with the pain and everything like that. If a family typically suffers together, but there's so many out there that don't have families or support systems. And so these resources are incredibly important.
Yes, they are. And actually, my current family now, my husband and my son, I have an 11-year-old son. He just turned 11. It's crazy.
Where does life go?
I know. I'm just like, what just happened? He was a baby yesterday. But they weren't a part of my family when I was in addiction. Actually, I have 7 siblings, and my parents and we all grew up in a family band. We traveled around, did music and such, but they didn't know what I was dealing with. I was hiding it in my teens, and I actually overdosed at 15.
Wow.
Intentionally trying to end it all and be done with it, because I felt like there was just no hope. I just lost hope completely. And that's been my number one thing, is to bring hope to people and let them know they're not alone. And I didn't even tell my parents till 4 years later. And it's hard because too many people live in that shame and that guilt and that secretiveness, so they don't get the help they need. And I'm trying to bring that to awareness so that people are like, check on your kids, check on your loved ones, check on your friends. They might not be okay. They might say they're okay, but be aware, look for signs. There's resources out there online that people can, look for signs and have a list of things to check on. And because sometimes people just, they don't know how to bring it up. And but all of that to say that my husband now, he knows my journey, and he knows my story, and he has been such an amazing, he's my sound guy as well. And he also edited and recorded the majority of the video. So it's just a family affair.
Teamwork, making the dream work.
Yeah. But he has been so supportive and always helping me to keep, because relapse is a common thing as well. And I suffered from depression and anxiety and such. So he was able to help me keep out of that dark circle,
Mhm.
spiraling and such.
More
and
like
so,
a tornado. Yes.
yes, that is an accurate description. Yes.
Well, if you didn't know, I struggle myself with everything that you are actually describing. There was even a point where I myself used pills to go away, and my mother found me, and which I still feel bad to this day that and I even remember in that moment being malicious and wanting to hurt her and making sure that she would be the one to find me. And so it does. You hurt people that you never in your life imagine that you would. And now at 32 years old, I couldn't ever imagine hurting my mom in that way. But we had to learn, and that is another good note. We just keep hitting all the good notes. Is you think a teenager is often being dramatic or overly emotional, or, as a parent, you tell them all the time. My dad used to say to me constantly, the friends you have in high school are not going to be the friends you have forever. And I didn't believe him. And I just thought, a fight with a friend was the end of the world. There was a lot more to it, but that was really good advice on his part. Yeah. But yeah, it's harder to catch it in young people because we think that they're just being young people, but it can be very sneaky.
Yeah, the number one thing that I have tried to remind myself now that especially having a son who is slowly creeping into his teen years, he doesn't know everything I know now. And that as a parent, that is my sisters all have children. I have one sister has 10 children, and I'm not exaggerating. That's literally your face cracks me. Oh gosh. Yeah. I get that reaction a lot. People stop breathing usually.
I'm going to have a nice think on that as someone who has professionally just become Aunt Corliss. I thought
I have a sister like that too.
Yeah, I have 7 nieces and nephews, and I'm like, yeah, I can't afford Christmas anymore, so I hope everybody's done having kids. You have 10 just out of one sister, and
I have 27 nephews.
Do you remember their names?
Sometimes. It's the younger ones that get me because they all kind of look the same. So I'll be like, no, oh wait, no, okay, yeah. Hey, you. You with the face.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's a lot, but I love it. I love it. It's crazy chaos, but it's awesome. We all get along and love each other dearly. And so, but yeah, one of the things that me and my sisters and my brothers have all started to really talk about is how we have to remember our children don't understand and don't have the life experience that we do. And so the decisions that they are making are based solely on their emotions right now until they have that experience to be able to make informed decisions. And so, and also I'm huge into researching the brain and how that affects us throughout life and just different aspects of it. And so one of the things that we've really discussed has been the trauma of our childhood. Not that we had a bad childhood. We had a wonderful, my parents loved us completely. There was so much, a lot of the trauma was what we did to ourselves. Mm-hmm. Just really bad decisions.
Or what would happen outside of our home when we weren't with our parents. We also grew up in a different time. A
lot of trusting parents.
Yes. Way trusting. Way
too trusting of us and our friends.
I have told my mother that a million times. I'm like, really, you were a great mom, but holy heck, did you not pay attention? Like, how did you not know what I was doing?
I feel like that should be a shirt.
It should be.
We should give it to our teens and be like, you have to wear this and be like, Mom, remember, I'm probably doing something wrong. Just pay attention.
Right. Sorry, Mom. I'm kind of calling you out today.
Oh, but parents have it hard. And I didn't realize that until I became one.
Yes.
It's a whole different ball game. And when before I became a mom, and especially as my son Ethan got older, I really blame my parents for my addiction and for my issues and my anger and my depression. I blamed them constantly. But I also realized that depression is really, the soul of it is wallowing and marinating your brain in negativity and never focusing on the positive and the joy.
Yeah.
And you have to train it. You can train your brain. And that was one of the things I had to come to terms with. I had to forgive them, even though they didn't really necessarily do anything wrong. I mean, there were aspects that, every parent messes up.
Right.
This was a big thing for me, was to realize that they weren't to blame for my decisions, especially in those areas. And there may have been influences from that, but there's influences all over the place. I mean, all over. And the world is hard. It's just hard. And
well, it's not like they were handed a to-do book. Like
right.
there is no how to. There's no rule book on how to parent. You are just learning as you go. And then you just have to hope that the children that you raise also have children, and that they do a better job than you did. And then that's just the cycle. You just want it to keep going and keep getting better. So I have found here recently that putting a blame on one little piece of a very humongous puzzle, it just doesn't, life is way more complicated than that. And so whether you have to work on forgiveness or whatever the term may be, or whatever it is you need to do to get through things, it is always good to remember that there's more than one puzzle piece.
Oh yeah. And they're all different shapes. Not two are the same. So,
well, Cynthia, I love that you have just shared your truth here, and you have been so honest with me. I know that was probably a big decision for you to make when writing this song, recording this song, and then sending this song to radio, to where you'd have to talk about it. So just absolutely incredible. And to those listening, if you missed it, the new song is called What the Whiskey Gave You by Cynthia Rausch. You can get it anywhere now. This is actually on a new EP that you just released called More Than a Song. How about that? Like, you're not just hitting us with all heartbreakers and ripping us to shreds.
Actually, there's like a really, really happy, upbeat song on that called Love Is All That Matters. And I love it. The title track is called More Than a Song. And that's where I got the title for the EP. And it's actually talking about how I'm a very philosophical writer. I just get really in there and just dig in deep. I've always been that way. My first album actually is I was a super big ballad writer. And so all of it is ballads, and it's just really emotional. You will cry the whole time. I can't even listen to it anymore unless I'm mentally prepared, because I was I was going through some stuff. But this isn't all of who I am. The addiction is not who I am anymore. And even the recovery isn't, because that's not my sole focus, but this is a part that I wanted to share and I wanted to bring awareness to. And I'm going to move on from this, and I'm going to be, who knows where I'm going here afterwards. But as of right now, this is what I felt led to do. And I needed to be something that was addressed. And so, yeah, I am a happy person. I swear.
She really is. No. So we did actually get to finally meet in person, and me being the crazy person that I am just screamed at you. I was like, "Are you Cynthia?"
It made my day. It made my day. I was like,
so
this is the reaction I want from everyone.
I was just so excited to meet you, because I love your music, and we have a lot of mutual friends, and and you are just an absolute light. You were actually my escape that night, because you were one of the smart people that had a corner table where I could go and hide and relax after being coreless and being coreless upon. I'm telling
hard
you,
because
man,
we have
some
to turn
days
it on,
yes,
you
like
know?
it's an on and off thing. And like, I'm tired and my feet hurt. And so, so I appreciate you for your kindness and dealing with my crazy and letting everyone else know if you go get this EP, you're going to get the sad, you're going to get the happy, you're going to get all of Cynthia. And I hope you do because she's wonderful. Cynthia Rausch, thank you for coming to Maverick.
And thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. This has been awesome. And you are like, I literally have not heard one bad thing about you from anyone. And everybody's like, oh, you're gonna talk to Corliss? Oh, you met Corliss? Have you met Corliss? And I'm like, no. But beforehand, I was like, no, I haven't. I really want to. She seems like a really cool person. And then I got to meet you and you screamed and I was like, yep, this was what I needed in my life.
I was gonna say, did I live up to the hype?
Oh, above and beyond, girl. Above and beyond.